hello again.
Hello again.
Hello again. And now we're recording this just before the big announcement.
Yes.
So we don't know when you're hearing this and watching this, then we could be only being meant to be a metre apart.
Yes.
Probably
Instead
just
of
as well.
two-ish. But we're
We're
outside,
outside.
you know, and the sunflowers are blocking. So
Exactly.
it's okay. It's okay.
And you never know, we might be able to go ahead on.
Happy days.
Happy days.
Happy days.
Happy days, but hopefully.
Well, we'll see. Although, actually, I'm going to leave it a bit because there's going to be a massive old backlog, isn't there,
Yeah.
for those poor hairdressers and barbers. They're going to be working round the clock probably. So,
Well,
you know, it's not essential. But
well,
it is.
I won't be taking my boys to the barbers for sure, because
No.
I, like many mothers, have
Yes.
managed to learn what other people have to go to college for 3 years.
Well,
I
you
did
say
it from
learn.
5 minutes.
You know,
5-minute tutorial on YouTube with zoom, zoom, with the clippers. No problem at all. I mean, they've been out the house. I mean,
they've been out the house. It might look like they've had an argument with the lawnmower, but you know.
No, even my husband let me cut his hair twice.
I know, but needs must, and I've done the same with my husband and my son. Obviously, I haven't with my daughter, wise Molly, but
That'd be silly.
yeah, but no, I think I actually appreciate now the skill of cutting hair, and even, you know, with those clipper things, that they look so easy in the barbers when I've watched my son have his hair cut so many times, but it isn't, it's the blending, isn't it? Can't do it at all. So yeah, that'll be good, but needs must, and we have been shearing and
You
shopping.
do what you do. You cut hair, you make up recipes,
Yeah.
you make
Soup.
up going to the garden, soup.
Oh, chucking everything in
So
a
much
soup bowl,
soup, stuff
because
in
then
the-
I'll say, look, that's lunch. Help yourself. So they don't have to go, what's for lunch?
Oh, yes, exactly.
But I don't know about you, but I've been finding new ways of shopping. I haven't been in a proper supermarket for months since
Right.
this whole thing started.
I tend to not go into the supermarket
No,
anyway.
you order
On
online.
Friday, yes,
I
I'm
order
afraid so.
online when I get a slot, but that isn't very often. So I've been going a lot to the local shops and having a couple of deliveries from, you know, local wholesale type farm stuff. It's been brilliant. So that's been really good, and it's amazing what you kind of find out, you know, when you are in the situation. You can't just pop somewhere, so you find other ways, and I think that's been great. I think the local shops have been brilliant, and I think they've been very friendly and helpful.
And haven't put their prices up, I don't think.
No, and they've been fab. So I think we've found out a few things. So I'm not in any rush to go back to a supermarket.
Well, as I say, I never go. What you don't want to do, though, word of advice, what you don't want to do is be amending your Sainsbury's order at 11 o'clock at night in bed when you're tired and possibly have had a glass of wine or two, because you'll end up with the most bizarre things.
Such as?
Well, I had the other day a frozen lobster in my basket, and in fact, I saw it in my basket. I thought, what is that doing there? And I thought I took it out. Only it still materialised the following morning, and I'm like, why have I got? I don't want. I mean, I love lobster, but frozen lobster I don't think is very nice. So why would I order one?
What? Who
It's
knows?
random.
Who knows? Have you eaten it yet? And
No,
what
it's
was
in
it
the
like?
freezer.
In the
It's
freezer.
still in the
And
freezer.
there it will
I
probably
probably
remain.
well,
I'll have it actually, because I mean that's one thing, you know.
very
frozen
strange.
or not frozen.
And
I'm
I've
sure it's nice.
had also massive bags of pasta and very small bags of flour because they all look the same size on the page.
Yes.
And I'm not very good with metric because I'm old.
Well, you never know. You never quite know what you're getting
I don't know
online,
what.
do
No,
you?
no.
Yeah.
But anyway,
But
we
you know,
survived.
we have survived.
We have
Although
survived.
you know, life is different, isn't it? And
Well, where are you supposed to be? I was
I
going to
should
say,
be in
aren't you?
Japan right now.
Right now, yes.
Right now, singing for the Barracuda English Gardens, which
Yeah.
I do every year for a couple of weeks. Such a wonderful place up in the Alps, and it was their 30th anniversary this year. And so, as a special kind of thing, Clive, my husband and I, and our 2 children. So I've gone out before by myself, then Molly came with me, and then Monty came with me, and this year all 4 of us were supposed to go out, and obviously not happening, so we're still here. Hopefully that will get postponed and, you know, so on, but yeah, it's a shame. And of course this year it was going to be the Olympics in Tokyo as well. That was all happening, and that's all cancelled or postponed, whenever that's going on next year,
I
is it?
think, yeah.
Okay.
But
So,
that's a
yeah.
really, really good link to a song.
Is it?
It is. About the Olympics.
About the Olympics. This is one of our very favourite songs, isn't it? That
It
we've
is.
sung a lot, and it's got two great stories.
Yeah.
And it's very powerful, I think. So yeah, why don't we do that one?
Shall we?
Yeah.
In the 1924 Olympic Games in France, a young man by the name of Liddell made his mark on the world of sports, not only as a medal-winning sprinter, but as a committed man of God. As many of you will remember from the film Chariots of Fire, he withdrew from his most crucial race because he didn't want to dishonour God by running on a Sunday.
You see, Eric Liddell's life was worth more to him than gold medals or Olympic glory, and some years later, he became a missionary and went out to China. Sometime after that, he died, sadly, in a prisoner of war camp.
And as if following in Liddell's footsteps, there's another young man by the name of Jim Elliot who felt a call on his life that would lead him and some friends to the rainforest of the eastern Ecuador, which was the terrain of the savage and treacherous tribe known as the Aucas, and the very mention of their name would strike fear into the hearts of all neighbouring groups, but he felt very strongly he wanted to go and befriend them. And when he arrived, he excitedly radioed the wives to say that a large group of the Aucas had been sighted and were headed towards their camp. And the plan was to go and meet them the following day, and that they would radio again at 5 o'clock. But very sadly, at 5 o'clock, only static filled the airwaves, and 5 families waited.
The next day, a search party was sent out, and it was then that their very worst fears were realised when they found that all 5 men had been attacked and brutally murdered by the Auca tribe. And many newspapers and magazines carried this tragic story to the world. And the reaction was, well, of course, what did they expect? They were fools for going out there in the first place. But just before he died, Jim Elliot penned these words: "He is no fool if he would give what he cannot keep to gain what he could never lose." There once was a man born of high circumstance, heir to advantage, he had every chance to succeed. But the light from the cross made his dreams appear small. To their amazement, he followed the call. For the love of his Savior, for one priceless truth, they could not understand, so they called him a fool. He is no fool if he would choose to give the thing he cannot keep, to buy what he could never lose, to see a treasure in one's soul that far outshines the brightest gold. He is no fool, he is no fool, he is no fool, he is no fool, he is no fool.
There once was a boy who could run like the wind, and given to lead, every man was his friend at the line. But light from the cross made his race appear small, and to their amazement, he followed the call. For the love of his Savior, for one priceless jewel, they could not understand, so they called him a fool. He is no fool, he is no fool if he would choose to give the thing he cannot keep, to buy what he could never lose, to see a treasure
treasure in one soul that far outshines the brightest gold. He is no fool. 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 That's such a powerful song, isn't it?
It is. I have to say though, I still remember the first time I heard that. It's a very long time ago.
89 probably.
Probably we were watching a Continentals concert in
Yeah.
Northampton.
Northampton.
Thank you. Yes, Northampton. And I remember listening to that song and it being an amazingly powerful song, and thinking, I know that's really important, but I just didn't quite get why. It moved me, and I knew the words meant something really, really crucial, but I didn't understand it. It was before. I think it's when I very first met you. Yes, 1989. That'd be right.
Yes, yes.
And
Yeah.
I knew you were a Christian, you went to church, but I didn't really know what that meant. I hadn't really got into it. I wasn't really at that point that interested, and I know you were sort of taking me to things to help me to understand, and I was hearing things I've never heard before.
Yeah.
And I knew that song would be important, but I didn't know why. And it was probably months later that
It wasn't
suddenly
just
made
about
sense.
the fact that that both men obviously lost their lives very young. You know, or was there something else? I mean, what do you think?
Well, I know now that it's so simple, but actually it wasn't at the time. So, you know, what it was basically saying was, all of us are going to die. You know, we all know that, and especially at the moment. But we know we have this life for a finite amount of time, this life on this earth.
Yeah.
If we're lucky, we get 100 years.
Yeah.
And so life is something that actually we can't keep forever.
Yeah.
You just can't keep it forever, this life. And what it's basically saying is those guys knew that there was more to life than actually their own lives. What they were going to do was far more important than their earthly life. So they were willing to go and give that up because they knew that their faith in Jesus was giving them eternal life, which was something much, much more. So their life on earth wasn't worth anything as much as what was worth in their going out and talking to people about God and his love for them.
Yeah, I suppose so. And I guess as well that, you know, with all of this that's happened, life has sort of flipped a bit upside down, hasn't it? And you know, we've all been used to being busy, and you know, there's the powerful and the rich and the wealthy and the strong and the famous, and they are in no different position now than the weak and the vulnerable and all the rest of us. So I think. Yeah. And that's been quite. I mean, it's a little bit like that, isn't it? And you know, you can add to that and say, what have we got? What we are going to lose? We're going to lose our lives, as you said, and we all know that. Once everyone that's born is eventually going to lose their lives.
On this earth, anyway.
On this earth, yeah. But it's also about giving away that we can while we can, whether it be love, kindness, money. Joy, time, an ear, listening ear. I mean, you know, all of those things are important.
The thing that always struck me as well about that is that not everyone knew that Jim Elliot, the guy that gave his life by trying to reach these Alcas, was very, very wealthy, very well-to-do, very wealthy.
Yes, he was.
And had given up all of that, and that's why, in particular, they called him a fool.
Yes.
Because they were like, "What are you doing? You're leaving behind something that everybody else thought was amazing."
Yeah.
And it was him that penned the words, wasn't it? You know, he's no fool. That, you know, they called him a fool, absolutely.
Yeah.
As did they call Jim Elliot a fool.
Eric Liddell.
I'm sorry, Eric Liddell.
Because he had this.
Because he was just about to win an Olympic gold.
Yeah, and of course, but there's a really nice footnote for both of those because Eric Liddell, as you know from Chariots of Fire, I'm sure, did win an Olympic gold.
Yeah.
When he ran in the 400, I think, shows how rubbish I am at sport.
Yes.
But he won a race that he would not normally run in. So God did honour that decision of his.
Yeah.
And also Jim Elliot, some years later, that tribe of Alcas did all become Christians because there was another, I think it was through Jim Elliot's wife, Elizabeth Elliot. I'm going to get my facts right about this because maybe we can talk about this on another issue, on another episode. But there is a footnote to both those stories that actually, in the end, they both came good.
And I just think it's a really good thing for us all to take to heart. Is that he is no fool if he gives what he can't keep, money, fame, position, to gain something he could never lose. And I think that's something that we should all probably take to heart and remember, especially at the moment.
I think so. And the other thing to say as well is that, people find ways of working life out, don't they? And so I think what we're saying is the way we found life works best is by knowing God and having that kind of awareness and having God in your life and being aware of his love and stuff without going boom, here it is, but that's how we find life works.
I have to say, if I didn't have that in the centre of my life, I would have found it very, very difficult to get through these last 12 or 13 weeks, 14 weeks, wherever we're at. I can't even remember. I'm not denying
out of control, isn't it? We are totally out of control, and everything that we knew has gone.
And the knowledge that someone bigger and better than me is in control just makes a huge amount of difference. I'm not saying the odd gin and tonic and glass of prosecco doesn't help as well, but
it's part
fundamentally
of life's niceties, isn't it?
Absolutely.
As is friendship, as is that there's some stuff going on there that is all part of. We're not being puritanical and saying this is one way, these are the rules. For us, it's not about rules. It's just about relationship and having that relationship with God, relationship with Jesus, and just being free to be ourselves in that and deal with life's issues and challenges when they come is certainly how we found how life works best. And that's how Jim Elliot and Eric Liddell found that as well. Yeah, fantastic. Great guys.